guys, it's Kanan.
It's Jesse.
And we are the Geeky Sane Couple, and welcome to our overview / analysis of RWBY, Volume 7, Chapter 8. Please forgive us that this is coming out so late.
Retail is one hell of a job.
Yeah, especially during Christmas time. Late Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa.
Happy everything.
Yeah, and if you don't celebrate anything, hope you had a great Wednesday, December 25th. Yeah, we have been getting our asses kicked. As you all know, we both work retail. It's been the holidays. Store hours got extended to 10 p.m. For the holidays, so by the time we would come home, we would just be way too exhausted. I'm exhausted right now because I had to work today.
I literally just happened to finish a pattern, and it's taken me a while to do this pattern, so yeah, it's been rough. Now that the holidays are over, it's gonna get a little easier. I mean, we are running into con rush, but
that's overall, in like, what, almost 2 weeks?
Yeah, but overall, these cosplays really aren't as complicated as they look. Once I've broken them down, so it shouldn't be too bad. I've got a pattern and stuff up, and I'm gonna do some tests with it, and I'm gonna put it up on Patreon. There's gonna be more Patreon stuff coming up.
Because we actually have time now to do it?
Yes, so there's more things coming up. We do have some more videos planned now that the holidays are over, and through the winter break from RWBY. It's just, we're gaining our strength back from everything. Not so tired.
Speaking of gaining, we are at 115 subscribers, so we hit our 100 subscriber goal before the new year started. Welcome to the channel, and we also gained a new patron on Patreon. So, before we get into the overview, I want to touch on there is going to be a giveaway. We're actually probably going to have a video up about the giveaway before this one will be up. But so, if it is already up, please go and watch it. It'll give you how you can enter the giveaway.
There's quite a few things that we are giving away. There's two main things, but we've got a bunch of littler stuff that's going to be given away too.
And we're going to do future giveaways. This isn't going to be the only one. Yeah, this is the first.
In between our channel and Patreon, there's going to be plenty of giveaways. But this one, the rules will be pretty simple.
Yeah, it's not going to be anything hard.
No, subscribing was definitely the biggest thing. But now, since we can't see all of who subscribes to us, we'll go into it more in the video, but between Twitter and YouTube, you need to comment. You gotta tell us something, and we'll give you the rules of what you need to do.
Yeah, so if it's already up, go watch the 100 subscribers plus giveaway video. So yeah, once again, sorry that this is coming out so late, but hey, there is no RWBY episode this week, so you'll get this, plus our reaction to the very episode we're talking about, which is already up on Patreon, because it got unblocked already.
Forgive us if we do forget little things here and there.
Yes, because it's been almost a week since this episode aired, and we've
been at work almost the entire time.
Yeah,
so
Christmas was the only day we had off, and
we slept in quite late that day.
Yeah, so yes, please forgive us if we don't hit every little thing, if we're not as sharp on some things as we usually are, just because, tell you the truth, it's just, I feel like Mama Schnee right now. So let's get into it.
Okay.
Alright, so the episode ends with us once again seeing the invitation to the Schnee Manor, and yes, there was a big in-joke on Twitter that if this is written by Jacques, he writes like a doctor, because you cannot read it at all, which I kind of sympathize with, because my handwriting is awful. I write like a doctor.
I write everything for us.
Yeah.
But here, the first thing that Weiss says is, leave it to my father to turn, this into a PR move,
And she's already suspicious. as
and
it is.
growing more. And her suspicions are pretty much adding up. And once we get to that slide, which is at the end, towards the end, I'm going to touch on something that connects from the last episode.
So we see Team RWBY. You can all you can see is Blake's legs. And Oscar, yay, seeing Oscar sitting in with Team RWBY, because a lot of people have been complaining that he just seems kind of distant from all of Team RWBY. It seems like the only one he's really close to is RWBY. And it kind of reminds you of just little sit-in parties you would have in a dorm or something, but except they're talking about something really, really serious. So they're all talking about how this is obviously not going to go well. And of course, RWBY's the only one who is saying maybe it won't be so bad. And they just keep on talking about, how this is obviously more than likely not a trap in that Ironwood's life is in danger, which, those can happen at fancy parties. They're mostly talking about how
they're cornering him.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much putting him in a room where the one that's going to be the moderator, as they had mentioned about Jock, pretty much leaving him to, as he's saying, control the conversation.
Yeah.
So, pretty much locking him in a room and controlling everything that's going to be said. It's you're backing somebody into a corner.
Yeah. Which always happens at political parties anyway. Okay. So, I think Yang just prefers Weiss's bunk over her own, because this is like the second time she has stolen Weiss's bunk.
Well, her bunk is also on top, so just sitting in it is not exactly easy access.
The moment after I saw this episode, I made a couple of funny tweets. Well, for one, Blake and Yang are sitting on the same bed. And I made the joke, which got really the tweet got really, really popular. Got a lot of traffic. The fact that neither Yang or Blake can sit straight.
No.
And when I say straight, I don't mean sitting up straight. I mean they don't set the hetero way. People were even making a big deal about Yang manspreading.
I've seen that all over Twitter.
And the Bumblebee bot on Twitter said something about Yang manspreading, and that's what happened.
Well, the thing is I don't know.
And someone said Blake was sitting like she's got Big D energy.
The way Yang's sitting, she sits like that a lot, we've noticed. It's not the most...
Someone else noted, though, a nice little detail. Every time Yang moves her prosthetic, you can hear it. You can hear the
mechanisms moving.
Yeah, which is a nice little detail. That
you started... I've noticed it before in other episodes, but
it's been in other volumes, but
you really notice
sometimes
it in
it's
this
missing.
one. Especially when she first put it on and she, twisted her wrist around and made a fist. You could actually really hear the gears and stuff moving. And
the big difference here is people were making the notion that usually when we hear it, she's making really big movements, like she's flexing or something. Here, she's just gesturing, and you can still hear it, which is a nice little sound detail.
That let's see what the word I'm looking for. Progression from when they first introduced the to now.
Because the only time you heard it is when she actually when she first tried it on, she was looking at it and moving it around and all that. You could definitely hear it. But this is just little slight details, like a wave of the hand or just a little gesture that you can still hear it. I also love that it's Blake is the one who said it's hard to imagine how that's going to play out, because I have a feeling she's probably not too thrilled going to a Atlas high society party. So this is funny. With now, Weiss seems to be jumping on Team Robin a little bit. it might not go that way because God, it's really hard to like predict the correct thing in RWBY because it seems like, oh, this is obviously what's going to happen, and they throw us for a loop. Um, this it's a little bit of foreshadowing for me anyway that Team RWBY is slowly
leaning
more
that
toward
direction.
Robin, which I mean, Nora is really Team Robin. It seems like, but it's the little things like at the rally, Ruby smiled during Robin's speech. Blake and Yang pretty much went rogue and let her know classified information, and now you've got Weiss, saying this. So it's little bitty details like this that makes me think that yeah, eventually Team RWBY is going to side with Robin. Now this was the scene I was talking about. When Yang is saying this, you do hear her hand move, and this is more and more of Yang. Like Yang is really bothered still that they have not told Ironwood. Are they talking about Ironwood right here, about him knowing about Salem, or are they talking about the people knowing about Salem?
The people.
Okay. Like I said, it's been.
Or
feels
no,
like
no, no.
Feels like it's been weeks since we saw.
She was
this
talking
episode.
about like her father, the things
Okay.
he's doing, how he won, and
Oh, okay.
wondering if this
Okay, yeah.
has to do with with connecting with Salem. Like,
Yeah,
and
at this point,
the dots are starting to add up. Which technically, yes, this is connecting back to Salem.
even though it's more or less, Jacques is more than likely a
puppet
puppet for Watts. But so yeah, that little foreshadowing stuff going on here. Which,
yeah, because that Weiss would say, I think my father would do whatever it takes to win, which means he would take the side of an evil person, even if the person didn't.
I mean, he pretty much did that.
Yeah.
So yes, and they're saying that they should do the same. So this is really like. This is going back to what Ruby said about trying to do what's best, but she doesn't know if what's best is what's right. So it's a growing up thing, really. Like it's them thinking for themselves, which I mean Blake and Yang really did that last episode.
But Ruby's starting to now think outside of the box of thinking, okay, well, this is supposed to be right, so I need to do this. Well, as we've seen her grow through all the volumes, she's now to the point, well, from what Weiss said, just turn around and say, well, we should do the same.
Yeah.
We need to do what it takes to win.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the bad part of things to do what you need to win, but...
So this is a good, I kind of love this line because it goes with a lot of theories that's been going on since Volume 6 ended. Ruby saying, well, no one knows your dad better than you, which is something I don't think Weiss particularly enjoys, but Weiss has already been connecting those dots that is eventually going to lead to her finding out that her father is, in league with, Tyrion and all them for what happened at the party. Which I made a joke after last week's episode about how Weiss was kind of becoming Detective Schnee, and it goes a step beyond later in this episode that I kind of had this theory during the hiatus that what I wanted to happen, and I kind of got it in a way. So yeah, pretty much this little I believe this is where this scene ends, with Weiss thinking deeply, and here I don't think we have ever got to see the outside of Schnee Manor till now.
Jeez, when you
it's
stop and pause and actually look back, it's wow. For the fact that that's also the house.
Yeah. The fact that Jacques keeps on complaining that he's losing money, well, it doesn't really... Okay, so... We go ahead to the next slide, because we've got to... Okay.
Yeah.
This was probably the first best part of the episode, and it's very obvious that Ironwood and Winter both do not want to be there, at all, and
I would have said something about, we should
smiling for
smile
the
for the camera.
cameras, and Winter said, "Sir, with all due respect, you'd have to pay me."
And she walks off.
Yes,
She walks
like
off.
this is just one of those. Like Winter's got a lot of great scenes in this episode. Elizabeth Maxwell did amazing projecting the emotion in this episode. Um, so yeah, this was Winter moment number one. Okay, so I've got to discuss something here. Okay, so last week, the moment that we found out that they had been invited to Schnee Manor for a dinner party, everybody started screaming the Atlas Ball, and a lot of people have been wondering where the whole Atlas Ball thing came from, even though RWBY never said anything about it. It's mostly because kind of like it all started in Volume 4 when we saw the little party that that where Jock threw a quote unquote charity party when really it was just to stroke his own ego and all that, and that's where Henry Marigold tried to hit on Weiss and it backfired and all that. The little rumbling started then because we all figured we would be going to Atlas at some point. But then it really picked up after Volume 5 when we did find out we were going to Atlas. Then, of course, Volume 6 came and went. That was an in between art volume, kind of, where we did not get to Atlas till the very end. But here's the thing, folks. Where it mostly came from is that high society loves to throw their big parties. It's either to stroke their own ego, it's to hear the latest gossip, or, these little games of intrigue and all that the rich play on each other, trying to get the upper hand on each other. It's kind of like the game that Orlais plays with each other in the Dragon Age series. But then early in this volume, when we learned there was an election going on and Jacques was part of it, when we learned that Jacques was taking part, one big thing that political candidates do is they throw big parties to get votes. So that's where really the whole Atlas Ball thing came from. Now, I of course thought there's no way they're going to a party at the Schnee Manor and going in their huntress outfits. I mean, come on, it's a high class party. If you show up not dressed to impress, you're going to insult somebody. Well, we still didn't get that. But once we get into the episode, we learn that they are there as security detail.
Yeah, they're not going in
to the actual party. Only Clover, Ironwood, Penny, and Winter are going to the actual dinner. So that makes sense. That's the reason why they're not dressed up. They're there as Ironwood security detail. So that makes 100% sense.
It's quite the entourage there too.
Oh yeah, like there's it's quite
There's so many of them.
Quite a bit of guests there. So, Shitley, aka Whitley, is the one who answers the door, and first heartbreaking moment of the episode. Weiss asks, "Where's Klein?" And sadly, we learn, which he throws in that little jab at Weiss, but sadly we learn that Klein was let go. Now, it's kind of understandable because he did help Weiss escape in Volume 4, but it is kind of heartbreaking that we didn't get to see him. We have no idea where he is, where he's ended up.
Which I hope we do see him again outside.
Yeah, because he's pretty much Weiss's real father. Let's just go ahead and throw that out there. So yeah, that was heartbreaking. As we can see, there are a few guests there. The detail of this, like, bouquet haul and all that. Well, I'll get to it in here in a minute.
Yeah, that just shows even more. Like that's just...
like that's a large. I think Whitley even comments on the size.
Yeah, just our dinner. Like pretty much to you. How big do you think our table is?
And
like,
Ironwood even makes the comment.
I happen to know it's enormous.
Yeah. So, and after seeing it, they probably almost all could have sat at it, but it's kind of a VIP thing. Okay, yeah, this is what I want to get to. This entrance hall, this gathering hall or bouquet hall, banquet hall. Golly, what's wrong with me?
It's just the entrance to their...
Yeah, but here's the thing, we saw this in Volume 4. And if you see the comparison between Volume 4 to now, holy crap, it is like so much, like, you never notice it when you're actually watching it, but then when you see the side by side, you just realize how far this show has come, and just how better things get volume after volume. It's just the small things like lighting and detail and all that.
Yeah. I just realized.
Yeah, nuts.
It's what Weiss's looks like.
Oh yeah. Okay, so besides Blake and Yang sitting on the bed, we get another shipping moment for Lucky Charms. Or Fair Game, or whatever you call it. I prefer Lucky Charms.
Yeah, I like that one better.
So here's where we learn that it's just Ironwood, Winter, Clover, and Penny who are going to be at the dinner, and Clover says wish us luck, which is kind of ironic giving his semblance, and Crow makes the whole they
smirks and says, well, I mean, they already invited you.
Yeah. And keep going. And Clover gives this look. He kind of raises his eyebrow a little bit
before walking away.
Yeah. So here's the thing: whether Crow and him hook up or not, I love that they've introduced this character who is kind of a foil to Crow, but it's helping Crow grow as a character.
It's pretty much the other half to balance.
Yeah, well, but I mean, we're seeing a side of Crow that we've never seen before, and most of that's because he was always drunk and depressed because of his semblance and all that. But
this is bringing out, I think, the Crow that probably what he used to be. I mean.
So yeah, if Crow does end up being bisexual, that means that was always him, and that his alcoholism was
just
what
kind of clouded everything. But I mean, for the fact, let's go back to that. He's smirking at him. I mean, regardless, bi or not, doesn't matter. I'm just happy to see him acting this way.
Yeah.
But I love this. I'm sorry.
Crow definitely has more character this volume than he has in any other volume. And another great character moment. He's offered wine by a servant, a Faunus servant, sadly, and Crow turns it down. This is awesome. And he just...
I think I'm going to go patrol the grounds.
Yeah, so Crow gets out of there pretty quickly.
And then add Marrow, because I look more closely at this, too, when getting the shots. And he looks at the poor server and goes, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like he doesn't want to be it. He doesn't want to be. I'm kind of surprised Blake can stand there, but then again, she does have her team, her friends. It kind of felt
like kind of what you said. He said, you wouldn't belong, you wouldn't fit in at this type of party either. Neither would I. Well, Marrow, for the fact the newest, but seeing that, I know he didn't want to be there either.
Yeah. He is a Faunus. Yeah. So, despite being in the Alice military, he's still a Faunus. So, okay, I will admit that I really loved Harriet at the beginning of the volume, but the more she becomes I don't know, she just seems kind of really bossy and all that. I just don't know if...
Hair was bossy.
Yeah, I guess it does fit with her character. But she pretty much tells him to stay put, don't break anything, and to be ready.
Don't wander off,
Yeah, don't wander off, and
then... Yeah, I had to get this,
Them out of house and home. That's so hilarious. So Yang says, counterpoint, how about we do...
we do wander off.
This is why Yang is my favorite character. Now, the thing is, yes, once again, when Yang winks, she is looking at Blake, as always.
And consider breaking things and all that other stuff. It's just...
I love this.
I loved that. I'll be a touch.
Yeah, I just love Weiss this volume. She's
got a lot more sass too.
I really do enjoy sassy Weiss. Okay, so Weiss goes up to her brother, and
she was trying to go upstairs, and then he kind of just goes, well, where are you going?
So they, I want to get to the next section. So Whitley is just trying to goad her, I guess, just rubbing it in her face and all that.
But later on in the episode, we find out that there's a reason why he does act like this, and it's not because of Jacques.
Yep.
And everyone in the background is just like, seriously.
Now, okay, so I want to know what the fucking snack is. Some people say it looks like little peppermint patties. It looks like an Oreo to me. Either way, that's a very awful little snack to be giving everybody. Like, you could eat that in one bite.
Well, if you've seen, like, in fancy parties, the finger sandwiches, they're the
Yeah.
size of an Oreo as well.
Yeah, but at least you could get more than one. Here, they're only giving around one.
It's probably all he took, or he ate them all already.
So here we get to see the little. So I mean, yeah, not everybody would have sat there, but a good amount. So Robin is there, which is very very interesting. But here's the interesting thing. Either Jacques only invited the council members that agree with him, or the Atlas Council is way smaller than I thought it was. If up to this time it's only been technically 4 because Ironwood has 2 seats, that's just no wonder Ironwood's been able to get his way if it's just been him and 2 other people. So I don't remember what Robin said.
She had said, when Ironwood had greeted the other 2 on the council, she goes, Councilwoman Hill would have had a nice ring to it.
Yeah. And I think really she's just there just so Jacques can rub it in her face that he won.
Probably.
Which is, kind of crappy on Jacques' part. So yeah, we get this long camera shot of, from Jacques' end to Ironwood's end. Your typical dinner party with a long table. Now, Jacques, of course, makes the comment, are they safe with Penny there? Which Ironwood makes a very odd comment. The moment I heard it in the reaction, I kind of really didn't agree with the wording, and that was him saying that Penny is under his control. And I'm like,
don't word it like that.
Yeah, really, really poor choice of wording. But yeah, it's heartbreaking that poor Penny is just sitting here being talked down upon, really, and like she's this huge threat, and it just So I think this
is where he said it.
Yeah, and it
looks like Winter didn't exactly agree with his wording either, because the look she's giving him is just like, pretty much like, why did you say it like that? Like,
yeah, because it's been kind of shown that Winter and Penny are possibly becoming or already friends in a way.
Shortly after this in the episode, it does point out to that because of how she reacts to her.
Yeah, and it's just a heartbreaking scene altogether. Just, God, you just want to jump in the screen and hug her. Okay, so
I couldn't stop it at the exact moment when she says, "Why doesn't this kid just buzz off?"
Yeah, so yeah, Erin even herself said that this was a Bumblebee pun, so that was nice. That Yang just says that why wouldn't he buzz off? So, okay, so there's some people who didn't like this thing. They said it dragged on way too long.
I loved it, and the fact that I caught it at the wrong one, but Ren's he has this look on his face like, yeah, we're doing this.
Yeah, and
this is the Ren we wanted to see again.
Yeah,
like, and this shows that it's still him. But when it comes to, and he's been around Ironwood, and he's still like, was himself. But it does show that there's something more there. He's not just going full military.
And plus, I'm not saying I don't like how Nora has been the last few episodes. I love how Nora has been, but this gave us classic Nora back.
Yes.
And cause she's ready to cause some mayhem right here, and it's your stereotypical, like, a group of people planning out like just like, I can't even find the words right now, but pretty much Nora gathers up all this food. John is like timing it.
Ren's just casually walking around,
and he's got one of those little snacks. And, okay, let's see what they're serving at this part. I have no idea what those log-looking things look like.
Well, to me, it looks like there's some type of roll, because you can see lettuce and stuff in there, and you can tell the grill marks on the outside. So
and then
grilled something.
I
don't know what the bowls are, and then there's some type of, like, soup on the top.
Well, these right here, the things toward the top, they look like maybe some kind of pies, maybe like some kind of like.
And I noticed she's got more stuff layered in between, so I can't tell what it is.
The one things look like the Oreo-looking things, but bigger. They look like moon pies. Tell you the truth.
But there's leaves in the top, so there's they're probably some type of little
mint thing,
or sandwich type thing.
I don't like minty stuff.
But then there's these little boat-like things of stuff, and then whatever the layers are in between. Plus, it looked like a big bowl of soup on the top.
Yeah. So the moment Ren and Nora pass each other,
the smirk he gives her when he just kind of bumps into her is
and Nora gives this look like whoops, and it goes fine. And they focus on this very rich-looking woman with wine, and well.
I love how this is happening. I had to capture his face before and after, but seeing his face, he's very proud of himself that this is working.
Yeah,
and then
he's like watching it slow.
Like they're seeing, it's going for their target, and then yeah. But it ends up working out. It ends up anyways, working,
yes, because the woman's wine goes all over Whitley. I kind of feel bad for her. And everybody was talking on Twitter, let's talk about the Whitley T-pose. Oh my gosh.
It's funny, though. Yeah. And then he's still, even though it hit that woman, which obviously, rich society, they didn't care too much, it still hit their target.
And this little shot right here is giving the Renora shippers, which, I mean, we're Renora shippers ourselves, but
after...
gives them a little bit of hope. But they're still not out of the woods.
No, they're not. But this does give a little. It calms things slightly a bit more. That obviously they're still.
They've got to work on.
They have a lot to work on, but they're still.
On that communication for sure.
Obviously, they still work well together. They're still happy. It's just they've got some communication areas they got to work on, which maybe Nora's backstory and everything will help with that. Maybe that's where we'll get touched on with stuff. And then I can tell she's trying not to laugh.
Yeah, because I think someone else posted another screenshot. She's actually smirking. So yeah, Weiss is trying her best not to laugh right here.
The moment I had to capture this, Blake looked so pleased to see this.
Yeah.
She's just like, yeah.
And and once again, she looks at Yang, and Yang...
She does, yeah.
Yang nods to Weiss to go on, and...
Then Ruby's just
laughing.
giggling. Oscar was quite a bit amused too, and and then back into this.
Yeah, so this is, I don't remember their names, but it's getting heated. It's getting very, very heated. Like they are backing Wood up against the wall.
Because Jacques is exactly as Oscar said, controlling the conversation. Mm-hmm. He's steering it where he wants it to go. Yeah. And then Winter's she's boiling.
Yeah, she is every single second starting to lose it.
She's just like, I'm done. I'm over this.
Like the whole, like the reaction, I was like, oh, she's about to explode. And
there was a shot I had where Penny was looking over her and Ironwood, but it didn't load for some reason.
What are they eating? That looks like a very burnt steak.
Meat with something on top of it. It looks like some type of like vegetable, potatoes, and then like green beans. Maybe?
That steak looks way overcooked. I'm sorry.
I can cook a good steak.
That just
compared
breaks my heart.
To mine, never looked like that.
Yeah, that breaks my heart.
But then they were talking about, Jacques had brought up, turns out, our council here knows about as much as I do about this Amity project. And then
Robin knows.
She knows, and she goes, you don't know, you don't know either? And we said during the episode, we're just like, Robin, shush, don't say nothing.
Yeah, because
but I'm sure Ironwood is favored at this point. She's learned some things, but not.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
No, I mean, she's probably heard things through the vines here, but not what she knows. He doesn't know that she knows what she does, but I meant hints of the project, which obviously.
I don't know. As stubborn.
For all he knows, Jacques could have just told her.
I don't know. As thick-headed as Ironwood is, I I just think he's so short-sighted on what he's got to do. He's not.
Well, he's not going to put it together.
Yeah, I just don't know. And Clover brings up that it's a military classified information, and it's getting like. I felt like Clover could have been more help here. He barely says anything except right here about how it's a classified military operation that no one needs to know about.
And then Rocket says, well, this, the list of classified information keeps growing, apparently. Yeah. So the thing is, well, we obviously know the way this episode goes. Obviously, this dinner party isn't over, so there's more to this. Yeah. But I did want Clover to say more, so I'm hoping in the next episode we do hear him say more.
You would think his good luck semblance would work a little bit better in this situation.
It should, but it's not going to work right away.
Yeah. It's the same slider that I pushed the wrong thing.
Yeah, I think you pushed it wrong.
Okay. So Winter finally explodes.
Slams her fists on the table and stands up.
Yeah, pretty much.
You want trust, you have to earn it. You can't buy it.
Yeah. And like a lot of people wanted to see her jump all over Jacques, because really this is the first time we've seen them in the same scene together since they've both been shown.
And it also reflects this probably has something to, most likely a lot of it has to do with her watching what her father's done, but even when she was younger, seeing him pretty much pay people to be happy, pay people to do things, or and you can't just do that. And Winter's already didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
But the fact that she's just, I think, especially even after her talk with Weiss, up to now, she's got a lot going on in her head, too, in its building. So, Of course, this is just going to be pretty much the top to explode.
Yeah. But I think, sadly, Jacques kind of just...
He smirks because she...
lost her temper.
Yep.
And she excuses herself because, she does say that she, let her father get to her again, which it seems like no matter how strong she's become and how much she's distanced herself, it seems like he still gets to her. And she leaves the party. Okay, so here's my thing. During the hiatus, I said that I wanted that if there was ever going to be an episode where they got invited to the Schnee Manor, I wanted a spy-like episode. Where something like, Ironwood wants them to get dirt on Jacques, or maybe not even Ironwood himself, just that Team RWBY wants to get dirt on Jacques. And so I always imagined it with like RWBY and Weiss being the ones who go sneaking around while Blake and Yang start dancing with each other because, to create a diversion, a human and a faunus dancing together at an Atlas party thrown by the Schnees. That would, cause quite the upstir. Next week we could still get that because they're still at the manor.
Yeah.
But it's pretty much just Weiss who is going on her own, and I said that I was happy that at least this part of my theory of what was going to happen was true, and that to see Detective Schnee pretty much become Agent Schnee. Now, during the reaction, I said something like, "What's this random Weiss doing in this dark hallway all by herself?" Obviously, she attended to the character we're about to see, but a lot of people said that the way Weiss responded to this waitress reminded them a bit of Volume 1 Weiss, just the way she addressed her, which, Weiss is trying to, not come off as suspicious or anything, so of course she's going to come off that way.
But she also told her, good, keep up the good work and all that. Like, she's, which obviously probably a different attitude, but it still didn't stick out to her. Obviously, she probably just thought she's getting older.
Yeah. And then we get to see Mama Schnee finally.
And her name was Willow.
Yeah. Okay, so I found out a little bit about that. I thought, I thought originally Willow was just a name people came up with, Winter, Weiss, Whitley, why not Willow? But apparently, long time ago, a document or something that Monty had was kind of leaked, and the name Willow was on it, from what someone told me on Twitter. So I'm guessing her name was always Willow. But then again, there have been people who said that they have no idea where Willow came from. So I figured it was either it was always going to be Willow, or RWBY decided to call her Willow because that's what everybody was calling. That's what the fandom has called her for years. Um, so we got that little tease.
Yes.
And then got brought over
and
back
this
to
is the
Winter.
point where I was going to touch on, like, with how the connection between her and Penny.
Yeah.
Like, because she says to her, well, you really couldn't understand, and poor, Penny kind of looks down at her hand. She goes, oh. And then she's, no. That, pretty much telling that's not what she means. She didn't mean it that way.
Yeah, she didn't mean because she's a robot.
No, because obviously, every time, at least we've seen, she doesn't treat Penny like a robot. She just treats her like a normal girl. That's insanely strong. But, I mean, but seeing this little interaction between the two of them, it really does connect. Yeah, they're friends, and she does care about Penny. So, but some things that are said here, she's saying this relates back to, her time here, the memories, the bad stuff, like, all of that, and pretty much that, she lost her cool. She should have stayed in line and all that. And then when Penny turned around, well, Penny had told her, I thought you did wonderful. I thought what you said was great, pretty much. And, when she said no, she should have stayed in line, it's when Penny turns around and, like, she says, okay, well, no, I don't understand.
Yeah.
And she walks away.
Yeah.
That clicks with something that was said, though. Like, between the talk with Penny and RWBY.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That, things that RWBY had said and Penny, and, that really also leads me, the whole thing with Ironwood saying, the under my control, whatever. Well, it really means that everything that's been happening, I don't think Penny's gonna remain on that side. Like, I really don't. It's leaning more towards that, and I mean, all it would take is her father to do something, and then nobody could get control of her.
Well, I mean, if we're going with the whole story of Pinocchio, the whole, there's no strings to hold me down, technically Penny still has those strings wrapped around her. She still technically is, she still technically is, for lack of a better term, a puppet for Ironwood and all that. And so it just depends on when those strings are going to snap.
Yeah, that's what but what I'm saying is all her dad would need to do is something to fix it, so that Ironwood has nothing anymore.
Yeah.
And I kind of hope something like that does happen, and that's, and the look on Winter's...
That or she breaks from it all on her own.
Yeah. But the look on Winter's face, she's just like, it's... What she said's kind of hitting her a little bit, and we don't know the extent of that yet, and I'm hoping maybe next episode we'll see that too.
So we get some real angst here. So we were kind of hinted at that Willow has a drinking problem. And that is confirmed in this whole scene. So Weiss is still having to kind of deal with what RWBY had to deal with Crow. And this scene in particular, showing this divide between mother and daughter. And since this episode has come out, Weiss's the comic has released a new chapter for Weiss, and Willow is in it. And we see a very different Willow in the comic. It's kind of weird, because Willow, you can still tell, a broken woman in the comic, but she's still very Schnee-like. She's very full of herself in a way, or maybe it's just the drink and all that. But in this scene, which does take place sometime after that comic, we see really a broken woman. She doesn't really have any spark left in her.
No, and she, like, this scene right here, she says, sorry, I wasn't feeling good, so I couldn't attend your little party. And Weiss goes, it's okay, Mom, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like, she's just, accepted it. And, I mean, we finally actually get to really see her.
Why are all the moms in RWBY so gorgeous? It's just... And, like, it's really great to finally see her. She looks great. You see the... it's pretty much a bottle of vodka sitting there. So, yeah, she does, in fact, have a drinking problem. And this whole scene is really, really... It's just a heartbreaking situation. So she asks Weiss what she's doing there, and Weiss pretty much does tell her
she says, I left something. Well, first she says, I left something here. There was looking for something, I left. And she goes, that's right.
Yeah.
You left.
Yeah.
But she didn't... Yeah, you can tell she's sad about it, but things she also says here in a few minutes...
I think it's right here.
She wants her to be out of there.
Yeah, I think this right here is where Weiss pretty much comes out and tells her she wants to look at Jacques' computer.
Yeah, she says, I want to see his computer. And she goes, well, he's been locking.
Yeah, he's been locking it all of a sudden.
And I did capture...
Now here, Weiss says, I don't remember the line verbatim, but she pretty much says something how...
Well,
nobody would do anything, so she's
doing it. Well,
yeah.
She had mentioned, well, father's up to something and it's not good. And,
well,
her mom,
it was
Willow
pretty much,
had...
Yeah, it was pretty much something like, unlike anyone else here, she's going to do something about it. And Willow, like, grips the bottle.
Well, before that, it was Willow had said...
The glass, I mean.
Well, Willow had said, I thought we've all assumed that at this point.
Yeah.
So obviously she knows there's a lot more stuff. And before this, at this point, we don't understand how much she knows.
Yeah.
But so I did capture that, and...
Yeah, it's a heartbreaking thing. Just, we already had one member of Team RWBY, well, technically two, including Yang, having to deal with a family member's alcoholism, and we're right back at square one with this. But yeah, she grips that glass when Weiss says that because Weiss is telling the truth. But, sometimes the truth hurts. Okay, so
that's also when she says, he's been locking it, but there's a loophole.
Willow has got cameras in Schnee Manor.
All over Schnee Manor. So one, she's, like, when, going back to, Jacques saying, well, your mother was terribly upset when you left. Okay, one, we all know he's just a big liar, and we've touched on this before. But she saw this happen.
Yeah, so she is keeping surveillance all over Schnee Manor, catching every little thing Jacques has been doing to them. But here's the thing, though. She has a camera in his study where he talked to Watts. And the moment I saw this, I was like, she could ruin him.
But then there's this moment here, she goes, you have cameras in here? She goes, of course I do, all over. Yeah. Like, I did it in case I, ever needed to, and then she kind of paused. Like, yeah. To me, it's like she's getting all this pretty much all this information over the years, and it's just adding up, and herself, she doesn't...
Just makes you wonder why she's not used any of it.
There has to be something that's causing this, like, because she could easily take out Jacques and take over her own family's name again.
Well, yeah.
But there's something there, and I believe it probably has something to do with Jacques, but, I mean...
Though everybody has stated that she's got the dead mom hair.
On this, she had asked, you're not coming back, are you?
Yeah,
and Weiss goes, no. And she said, good.
And
she doesn't want her to come back.
A tear goes down her face.
I got that too.
So it's very heartbreaking, breaking. So here's the big moment. She hands her scroll to Weiss. So, what this could lead to... Okay, so right here, we see that, yes, the meeting between Jacques and Watts was captured on the security camera.
Because when she handed her the scroll before that,
there was
we
nothing
couldn't see
there.
it. No, there was nothing that you could just see the the camera of them now, but she clicked on something and handed it to her.
Yeah, when we saw the screen originally, we saw them. It was a live feed, like, almost.
Yeah, as if when she was walking away, she had said, your father had a man come and see you."
Yes, and I think was it the last scene of the? No, that wasn't the last. It was one of the last scenes. Is which she leaves. No, I think this.
Well,
this
is where she talks about don't forget about your brother.
Yeah.
And she
yes.
says, Whitley wants nothing to do with me, and she goes, "Of course not. You left him here with us."
Yeah. So
really leads this connects with what I said earlier. This why he acts the way he does. Yeah. He truly now we're seeing he does care about his sister, but one, he obviously has a cocky attitude, but
well, it's been a theory for a long time that Whitley is just as abused as Weiss and Winter
and that's why he acts the way he does. He hides it, and we kind of saw that in the moment when he Watts in the office. He was terrified.
He will still always be Shitley, though.
Yes, but I hope Weiss can get him out of there at least. Yeah.
So she leaves.
She looks at the painting of her father.
Yep.
And I didn't get the one, but she looks back at the scroll and says, "Who are you?"
So Weiss is going to find this out. She doesn't know who Watts is exactly, but like I love Detective Schnee.
We're coming because of everything that's happened and all that. We're coming to the end of he's going to be completely uncovered here. Yeah. And there's no way to continue hiding him now. We have to.
But there's a big but, and it has to do with the end of this episode. So I loved this shot of Watts. It was so foreboding and just like, because Watts is, he's not like Tyrion or Salem or even like Hazel or Adam. He's not your stereotypical villain. He's the Mad Doctor villain. So he doesn't look that physically imposing.
They usually die at some point.
Well, besides that, even though he's not physically imposing, he is still menacing. And as you can see, it's raining in Mantle right now, and you got this great shot of Mantle in the rain.
And I'm really looking closely at this. All that light you see, it's not the city. It's the heating grid.
Yes.
That's really thinking about it. I thought maybe, okay, he just heat off to everybody. No. The heat, that's why it's raining. Think about when it gets warm enough and it's supposed to snow. If it's too warm, it turns to rain. That is why it's still raining, and it's cold, but it's not freezing there. The heating grid's what keeps it from freezing. But
he makes a few little clicks now. Great thing about this is, which will probably eventually kick Jacques in the ass and probably lead to Watts getting caught, is that last episode, Weiss made the connection that, well, I think it was Pietro who said it, that the SDC has control of the heating grid.
Yeah. Well, he had said, some people have, access to the system, like the heating grid and the garbage. And Weiss says the SDC is in partnership with the
So the only way he could have gotten access to this, because it's up in Atlas, and he said earlier in the volume that the code up in Atlas had been updated, so he didn't have it, but Mantle was still the same. So the only way he could have gotten this is more than likely exclusively through Jacques.
Because Jacques would have been the one to access that last thing in Mantle that he couldn't get to.
So this is really perfect timing for Weiss to see this video footage, her have that knowledge that the SDC has access to the heating grid, then all of a sudden the heating grid goes down. So, yeah. Jacques and Watts have kind of set themselves up, but we still don't know what's going to happen. Because we all know in RWBY, even if the heroes figure it out, something will go wrong. But yes, the heating all around Mantle starts going down.
And it stops raining almost instantly.
And starts
cold and starts snowing.
But then
I've noticed in the background, we've got the same two drunks sitting here on the step.
And as the episode ends, the snow starts to fall harder.
And the wind starts picking up, which, that's it.
Okay.
and like that's what really. At first, I thought, okay, that like I said, the heating just went out. No, that's what heats and keeps at least
it
moderately
snowing.
warm, and it keeps
started
it from
snowing
freezing.
really, really fast. So yeah,
Which
people are going to start freezing to death in Mantle.
it connects with what Weiss said when they were out going into the mine.
Well, yeah.
So, but the thing is, I mean, I don't think that turns people's personal inside heat off because they've got blankets and stuff that can help them. But the outside, everything's gonna get just.
I mean, the whole heating grid's gone. So I mean, they're heating air and all that's gone. So I mean, even with insulation inside
they're still going to be really cold. Well, I mean, a lot are going to die.
Well, I mean, Weiss said in a matter of hours the cold would kill you. So, and a lot of those people probably don't even have an aura. We don't know how many of the people in Mantle have an aura because you've got to unlock that stuff. But really, really low key episode. I think Chapter 9, when it starts back up on the 4th, will still be at Schnee Manor. This episode kind of felt like a part 1 of a two-parter.
Yeah.
If they start the next episode off and they're not at the dinner party anymore,
there's going to be a huge hole.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. The only criticism I have for this volume, they really need to quit. It's funny. Earlier in the volume, I said I wanted a few day time skip. To get things mailed out.
Well, not like that.
Yeah, now they're doing too many time skips.
I think the reason why we didn't get a huge cliffhanger like we usually do is because it's a two-parter.
Yeah.
So they left it because, okay, well, obviously here's half of it. You're not going to see the other half until after. So that's why I think that it played out the way it did.
Yeah, I really think that there's a good chance that Chapter 9 will still... Because the whole dinner thing with Ironwood's not...
It's not done.
It's not done. And I mean, I'm sorry. Ruby, Blake, and Yang have got to do more than just stand outside in the banquet hall the whole entire time. So hopefully Blake and Yang will start dancing to cause a distraction.
Brings the information. Thing is I'm pretty sure with the technology they have, I'm sure that she'll probably transfer and record whatever she can to her own scroll.
She definitely should. If
she's not going to just take her mom's scroll with her.
Yeah, if she's smart, she will copy every bit of that to her own scroll. But here's the thing, though. Will they trust Ironwood with the footage?
I think she'd trust her sister more than Ironwood.
Yeah, but
and with her questioning things, I don't know.
Here's the thing, though. Winter is loyal to Ironwood, so...
Though she's starting to question a bit, but not enough.
I don't know if that's confirmed. That's just a theory we had.
That's how you... Well, I mean, that's how I'm seeing her act.
I just don't know. I think they'll end up giving it to Robin. Because Robin already knows half the plan. She just needs to know about Salem and everything. But, I mean, it's just a theory. So, yeah, really down to, very... political heavy episode for one. Really heartbreaking moments between Penny and Willow and Weiss. Ruby, Blake, and Yang did not have a really huge part in this episode, which, I mean, going to Schnee Manor, you would think it'd be more of a Weiss-centered episode, and it was, which is fine. Yeah, kind of weak for a Christmas cliffhanger, but it still left off ominous. It still left off with a feeling of dread.
Yeah.
So yeah, good episode. Really interested to see how they continue. If they're still at Schnee Manor in Chapter 9, which storytelling-wise, I think it should. Because I'm not the only one who said they felt like this was like a part 1 of a two-part episode. So we'll see about that. So yeah, that was the overview and analysis for Chapter 7. Or Chapter 8. It's almost midnight. I'm tired, okay? Sorry if it wasn't as great as the others.
Or as long.
Yeah, because like I said, we saw this episode almost a week ago. And a lot's went on since then, so... Plus, I mean, besides Willow, there really wasn't this many parts in the episode that was, really, really memorable. But still a great episode. Still enjoyed it. Can't wait till next week. Hopefully here soon. Hopefully Saturday we'll get the thumbnail and all that for Chapter 9. Um, but anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please remember, if you want to enter the giveaway, you just need to subscribe and go watch the giveaway video, which will probably be up before this one because it probably won't be as long as of a video. And please watch it and follow the instructions, and you'll also see in that video what you have a chance to win. So, hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. All of our links are in the description. Hit that notification bell. That way you'll know when other videos are posted. We're going to try our best to post way more than we have been. And also, remember, Let's Plays are coming early next year. Well, next week.
And some con videos are going to be coming too, since we're a couple weeks out.
Yep, a couple weeks till Ohio Con, so we definitely will have some con stuff. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please support us on Patreon. Please subscribe, and we will see you in the next one. Bye bye.